The morning of the 4th of June 2021, I am absolutely happy that we are nearing the final stages of our tropical storm Dante, known as Choi-wan internationally. It still has some impacts left with it as it starts to merge up with the rainy season front back here towards the north, especially across Taiwan and into the southern Japanese islands. Meanwhile, I'm only just going to touch on this real quick. A lot of people were asking about this little tropical wave east of the Philippines. I expected dry air to blow into it, and unlike Dante, I was actually pretty correct with this one, just continuing to fall apart, drift off there towards the west. And then we have a couple of other tropical waves along the intertropical convergence zone. There's moisture there, and there's potential, but at least at this time, I'm not, throwing up any alarms. So really, the big topic right now is, of course, our storm system. Still bringing some pretty rough conditions. This is from La Union. Thank you very much, John, for sending this in. Nice little photo. He also sent a couple videos. Long period swells out there on the west coast of Luzon. All thanks to our storm. Visible satellite imagery, though, tells the story, guys. This tells what's going on with this. That exposed low-level circulation, which has been the topic. One reason why, and I'm going to explain this in a totally different video, kind of breaking down what happened here. But this low-level circulation, when the convection blows away from that low-level circulation, the storms tend to kind of follow that upper level wind flow. One reason why this continues to track off towards the west here. But here's the deal. This is pulling up into the rainy season front. So that's going to merge up, and eventually it will get pulled over Taiwan and into the southern Japanese islands. But boy, plenty of rainfall in the forecast there. You can see that track. Technically, right now, according to JTWC, this is a tropical storm too. I'm quite surprised, but it's an ugly tropical storm, but one nonetheless. I know if you're in Okinawa, this looks scary. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, we got a typhoon coming. No, you don't. It's going to merge up. By the time it gets there, it's going to be more just a lot of rain. Winds right now, though, 65, gusting to 83 kilometers per hour, according to JDWC, moving towards the northwest. This should say TS. Don't know why I wrote that there. Tropical storm. How about Taiwan's rainfall forecast? This is from the Taiwan Meteorological Department, by the way, not a model guidance, but kind of what they put out. They're expecting, as we go ahead through the 4th into the 6th, so, here from your Friday all the way through Sunday, look at these areas. Some areas 200-300 millimeters. These are the mountains, so remember, that's what Taiwan's all about. Coastal plain, and you got these just absolutely rugged mountains there in the central portions of the country. They are in a drought, by the way. They need the rain. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a lot on the west coast, according to this. I think they're going to get more on the west coast than what this is kind of putting out, but that's just my thought. Regardless, it's rain, they're in a drought, and that's going to be definitely welcomed out across this area. You can see the guidance from the ECMWF, just what I'm talking about, what our little Dante finally basically merging up with the rainy season front. When I say merge, don't think the perfect storm type deal, Some people say, oh, two storms combining. Nah, this is more just the low pressure is going to get stretched. That moisture is going to combine. It means plenty of rainfall for Taiwan and across the southern Japanese islands. So we'll lift down towards the south too. So that means Okinawa, especially in the Mami Islands, all the way out towards Kagoshima, we can see some pockets about 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall. So enough to at least water the lawns. Also enough to cause some flooding, though, especially, I think, like I mentioned, in the mountains of Taiwan. Maybe even the Mami Islands, but more so back towards Kagoshima, especially if, Sakurajima decides to erupt. I'm sure that'll be interesting, mixed up with that rainy season front. All right, so Saturday through Sunday on the island of Okinawa. I know we got a lot of you watching from there. Gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour possible. The key thing is the rainfall. Wind damage is going to be minimal out there, but maybe if you're jumping out on the trampoline, usually when I use this graphic, the trampoline's flying away. Not going to be the case. You will be jumping in plenty of rain. All right. Let's take a look at that forecast, actually, for Okinawa. As I mentioned, those winds. I just forgot to change that. 20-30 miles per hour. Maybe you might still see some gusts up to 40, maybe on the western, the west coast there. But the key thing is rain, thunderstorms, Saturday, Sunday. It's not a great weekend to be out and about if you are out here on the island, or the southern Japanese islands for that matter. Here's another thing as we look ahead all the way out, well into next week. I'll get to that in a second. But here, look at this. The southwest monsoon's churning on. Our friends in the Philippines, Increased clouds, increased moisture. I know you want it. It's coming. That's good. Not too much rain like we saw with the storm, but definitely the temperature should drop a little bit. Same over towards Cambodia and also into Vietnam as well. All right, yeah, so there's that little spin up there. GFS has been jumping on it. It's back and forth. It doesn't really want to know what it wants to do at this time, but there is something there. This is way out there, you know, 200-300 hours out. It's like looking at a crystal ball. This is what I mentioned at the start of the video, though there was some convection out this way south of Guam. Yeah, the models are GFS only. Wants to pick up something with that. I'm not saying that's going to develop. I'm just saying, you know, we're in June in the Western Pacific. June in the Western Pacific means there's a tropical system around the corner every time. We're done with our significant laws. I just talked to the guys from Metro Weather today. By the way, if you want to check out our Patreon, it's going to help me pay for this. But I talked to them today. They're still getting the documents together. I hope they're watching. If anybody from Metro Weather is watching, I've been on standby for a couple weeks here. I'm waiting for you guys. I got all the hardware. I've been talking to my friends here in the community, but they're just, you know what? They're giving me a deal on these graphics. So I'm just going to, you know, be patient. That's the key thing. If somebody's going to give you a deal on something, you sit by and you wait. For the time being, though, the deal, regardless, I still have to spend some money. And I think these graphics are going to be great. But thank you very much, Patrick, Billy, Tracy, those super typhoons. It's $10 a month. You just jumped on. I appreciate it so much, guys. You don't even understand just how great this is. And if you do sign up on Patreon, I'm going to try to make some Patreon exclusive stuff here. It's basically behind the scenes things. But, I mean, just $2 a month. The Super Typhoons is $10. It helps out drastically. My goal is to make enough money so I can just do this full time. And maybe I might not miss a storm like Dante. We'll see. All right. If you don't want to do any of that, just at least hit the subscribe button or like button. Follow me on all those social media platforms. And the key thing, as always, is stay safe out there. All right? All right. Goodness, what is this? Looks crazy. Anyways, all right.